Go ahead, John.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. I'd like to call this Finance Committee meeting to order. We are doing a virtual / in-person Finance meeting and council meeting today for January 11th. The first item on the agenda for Finance is assignment of request for council action. We have 2021 property tax advances, 2102, 2021 membership renewal to Main Street Medina, 2103, expenditure of $15,000, SIPCA Architect Building Department, 2104, expenditure of $15,000, Buber Architectural for the Building Department, 2105, expenditure of $15,000, Vantage Law Enforcement for the Police, 2106, expenditure of $15,000, Board of Building Standards Building, 2107, approved application to accept funding for BWC Body Armor Program for the Police, 2108, expenditure for computer-aided dispatch report system, Police, 2109, discussion VIP budgeting software for 2022 budgeting process, 21010, replat of city parking deck property. The first item is 2253, fire services agreement with Montville Township. Chief Painter?
Chief Painter retired. I'll take this, John.
I didn't know if you wanted to just follow up on this to conclude it. But Mayor, go ahead.
So Montville Township is expected to meet this week and vote on this contract. So we would be passing it in finance subject to their approval. This and the next contract with Medina Township, they're 4-year contracts for the years of 2021, 22, 23, 24. We changed a little bit by adding the equipment that each of the respective townships has in the coalition, I guess, if you will, of the fire services, and also what the replacement schedule is, just so both sets of trustees are aware of that. The other thing we did a little bit differently in this contract is the mechanism that we've used for decades with LST, and that is where we take the total number of calls for the city and each of the respective townships and then divide it by the cost of the fire services. We thought that was a much fairer way of doing it, and we found out when we did the fire district study that the city was actually supplementing the two townships by giving them the fee amount that we were. And once that came to our attention, I did not feel it was fair to our residents to continue to supplement them. So this is the fairest way of doing it. We looked at a 3.5-year period, and those percentages don't change, but a percent one way or the other. So Medina Township passed theirs on December 23rd unanimously, and Montville Township is going to talk about it this week, and we expect they will pass it as well.
You're muted, John.
I'm sorry, I'm muted. Anybody have any questions either on the Montville Township or Medina Township fire contracts?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor to approve the Montville Township contract?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. So we have 2254, the fire services agreement with Medina Township. Does anybody have?
Move to approve.
Second. You're muted again, John.
How did I get muted again? Something's happening there. All in favor for the Medina Township?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We have 21001 property tax advance request. Keith?
Thank you, Mr. President. We have to formally request that the auditor advance property tax collections to us, and this is our annual request.
think you would need an emergency clause on this since it has to be done, I assume, in January.
Right, it has to be returned to them to get the first advance.
Any questions?
Move to approve with the emergency clause.
Second, including the emergency clause.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? 2021 membership renewal to Main Street, Medina. Mayor Hamel?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is a request for the city of Medina to renew our membership with Main Street. Matt is here, the executive director for Main Street. He would like to address council as well. But as Matt's going to the microphone, I would just like to share with the council and with the public that even in the COVID situation that the city is in, Main Street has done an excellent job of being able to still maintain a number of the activities, albeit they look a little bit differently. The farmers market was a little bit smaller, was a little bit more spread out. But many of the activities to keep supporting our businesses and drawing people to the downtown have been accomplished, and I just wanted to compliment Matt and the Main Street Board for their innovativeness. They're working with the health department to make sure that we could safely have these, but yet continue to have them. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt Wiederholt?
Thank you, Mr. President, and Mayor, thank you very much. I just would like to share a couple of quick points with you. So obviously 2020 was a challenging year for everyone, and it really forced Main Street Medina to rethink and revisit everything that we've been doing in the past. We totally shifted our focus from special events to working face-to-face with businesses, and it's not that we haven't done that in the past, but this past year our focus was solely on doing whatever we could in partnership with the city and the chamber or whomever else to make sure that our local businesses survived. And I'm very proud from Main Street Medina and in partnership again with the city and the chamber and the county that even through all the challenges that we had this past year, we didn't lose one business to coronavirus or because of it. Our community really came out and supported our businesses. A couple of things that we did, we instituted a weekly newsletter, so rather than sending information out kind of helter-skelter, businesses knew once a week they would get a Newsday Tuesday email that listed all the resources, upcoming events, things that we were doing to try and help them. We created an online restaurant page on our website. When restaurants were closed down, we went online and created something for all the restaurants in the city so that people could go there and see who was open for takeout or carryout only and curbside service. Even with all the lost revenue that we had from not being able to have our special events and fundraisers, our membership support remained very strong. So even though small businesses were struggling, they showed that they were valuing what we were trying to do to help them out by continuing their membership. We're also really proud that we secured $32,000 in facade and signage grant dollars from Heritage Ohio. So again, even though businesses were struggling, we still had private investment taking place in our businesses and in our building stock. We did some interesting things that we probably never would have done in the past. Normally, Candlelight Walk is a 3-day weekend. This year, it was an 8-week event, and it was a huge success. And I think that's something that will continue to go forward, not just limit it to a few days, but extend the whole season. I'm also really proud of the partnership that we forged with the fairgrounds. You know, one of the things that we love as Main Street is to create partnerships. And the fair was not able to have the regular fair this year. So to revamp Candlelight Walk, we had our reverse parade of lights. But then we partnered with the fairgrounds to promote their holiday lights as part of that holiday marketing. And this year they said they had 8,200 cars go through the fairgrounds, which is their best year ever. So again, I'm proud of our organization to be able to help out another group in the city. And finally, normally I'm able to stand here and report to you that because of the special events that we've done and the things that we try and do around the city, we usually generate about $1.5 million of economic impact. Now, I wish I could tell you that again tonight, but I am happy to say that rough estimates are still about $650,000 of economic impacts to the city. So people were still coming here. I have a bi-weekly kind of a virtual happy hour with other Main Street managers across the state. A lot of other communities are really struggling. They're losing businesses. There are a lot of vacant storefronts, but it makes me very proud to look out my office window and see cars in the parking lots and people on the sidewalks, and knowing that Medina is a safe place for people to come and support our small businesses. And again, without your support, we would not be here to be able to do that. So thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Matt. I think I'm on. My mic says I'm muted, but I don't think I'm muted. Am I?
So,
No.
It's strange. But I appreciate all the help that Main Street does. It was a challenging year this year, but I think it was a success. And I think we are different than other communities around the state of Ohio. We're able to provide something that other communities cannot. And I think people appreciate that, and they still support it even through this time of pandemic. Does anybody else have anything else to add to Mr. Riedhold's comments or to the renewal of Main Street Medina? Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. Matt, again, kudos to you, the board members, all the hard work, the local businesses that we all know that they're suffering. But another successful year, even in these trying times, and I'm sure this year will be bigger and better than last. So thanks again, Matt.
thank you and amen to that.
Mrs. Hazeltine.
Thank you, Mr. President. Matt, you know I love Main Street Medina, and I just want to say keeping up First Fridays has been so fun, and Gnomes on the Roam transitioning over into the Elf on the Shelf, brilliant.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, Matt.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Mr. Coyne.
Mr.
Matt, I just want to thank you for all your work and keeping things going, and then I really appreciate all the efforts for Southtown too. I'm excited that, we had some good momentum going there, and
Right.
I know you still have a lot going this year, but once we get back to that, and including Habitat for Humanity, and just a lot of exciting things down there as Main Street kind of expands into different areas, so thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Is there a motion?
Move to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt. Next one we have is 2103, expenditure over 15,000 for SIPCA architects for the building department. Mr. Gladish?
Thank you. This explanation is the same for number 7. Because we're a state certified building department, we're required to have, for commercial construction projects, either on staff or third-party consultants, a master plans examiner that would review and approve commercial construction projects. So we have two third-party consultants. The $15,000 is based on the past couple of years of what we have spent for plan reviews. We pay out by the hour, so it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to use the whole $15,000, but we do pay by the hour for the services. And again, that's for commercial plan review projects. We have a primary and then a backup. We're required to have a secondary.
Thank you. Anybody have any further discussion?
Move to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Item 7, 2104, expenditure of 15,000 for Duber Architectural Building Department. I think Mr. Gladish explained that one also. Anybody have any questions?
Move to
Is there a
approve?
motion?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We have 2105, expenditure of 15,000 for advanced law enforcement for the police department. Chief Kenny?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is for police equipment and ammunition.
Thank you. Any questions?
Move to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2106, expenditure over 15,000 to Board of Building Standards for the building department. Mr. Gladish?
Thank you. We're required to pay a state assessment fee for any permit fees that we collect, 1% residential, 3% commercial. So these are fees that we do collect, and then we have to pay to the state. So we collect them with the permit fees that we bring in, and then at the end of the month, we pay these assessment fees to the state.
Thank you. Any further questions?
Move to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2107, approve application, accept funding for body armor for the police department. Chief Kenny?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the grant for our body armor program.
Anybody have any questions for the chief?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2108, expenditure for the dispatch and report management system for police department. Chief Kenny?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the annual maintenance contract for our CAD and records management system that we use here at the police department.
Any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 2109, the discussion item for VIP budget software for the 2022 budget. Keith is here to talk about a little bit, but this may be better suited, just a little explanation from Keith, to throw it into the Mr. Rose's Emerging Technologies Committee, probably to have a further review of it. We got hands raised up here. Mr. Lamb?
We can't hear anything.
John, we can't hear it. I can't understand it.
Is there feedback from the City Hall? Is that what we're hearing, the feedback from City Hall? Jim, is there a way to shut the City Hall off when we speak and then turn it on when we ask the questions, or no?
He said yes.
He's got it.
Okay, thanks. We'll try that. So, Mr. Durham, do you want to talk about this a little bit? And then we'll probably move it over to Mr. Rose's committee. Go ahead, Mr. Durham.
Well, do we just want to have this discussion in Mr. Rose's committee, or what do you want?
I guess just give a question of why this was submitted was just to see if we could use this new software in our budgeting process as opposed to doing our separate spreadsheet. So is everybody okay to throw it to Mr. Rose's committee so that Mr. Rose and Emerging Technologies can look at this further?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll just throw it over to Mr. Rose's committee. Thank you, Mr. Durham. The last item we have is 21010, replat of City Hall parking deck property. Mr. Patton?
Thank you, Mr. President. We're asking for council's approval to replat the City Hall and parking deck land area, and further to give the mayor permission to sign on behalf of the city. This will result, if the replat is performed, it will result in 3 new city lots. One of them will be for the City Hall property. Second one will be for the parking deck and the access driveway along the east side by Sully's. And the third will be a small 0.1874 acre lot that the intention is that that lot will, after it is created, be transferred to the, the MCDC, Medina City Development Corporation, for use in that project.
And Mr. Pat, there's also going to be shown on this revised plat an easement, right? A 15-foot storm easement on the north side of the new city, combined city lot 9374?
That is correct, yeah, that, on the northern edge of that lot for the entire width, there will be a city storm easement to accommodate the storm sewer from the parking deck into the city storm system.
Anybody have any questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Is there anything else that needs to come before finance? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned at